I often have people ask me, do you really think all this woke stuff is so bad, Damo? Do we really need to be concerned about it and going on about woke, woke, woke all the time? Well, yeah, we do, unfortunately, because woke is not a myth or something that just emerged or popped into our culture by accident. What is woke exactly? Well, it's got a real name. It's neo-Marxist identity politics. It's a specific worldview that came up through academia over many decades, and it's often referred to as evolving from a thing called critical theory. That seeks to view everything in terms of oppression, right? There's oppressors and oppressed, and that way we can get the oppressed on side, get them to support our politics, vote for our party, and then we can get control, right? So this politics of oppression, but it's done in woke under the lines of race, gender, and sexuality, okay? It's left-wing because it aligns with socialism and communism theories, the philosophies that want big government and believe that the role of government is not just to play referee and leave everybody alone and be as small as possible, but to be as big as possible and actually make life fair, to enforce equity. That is the opposite of true classical liberalism, which believes that society will prosper and all people will be better off, richer, healthier, happier, if the government is small and just backs off and lets people who know what they're doing in certain areas of life get on with the job of succeeding and failing and learning and succeeding again in a free market, right? So everyone in society ends up doing the jobs and roles that they personally have the talents for, that they can do best, and that will add the most value to their fellow citizens because they'll get paid the most, rewarded the most in our system if they focus on those things that add value for other people. How nice, right? So woke really does matter because it's damaging that. Right now it's being used to demand that people are being given jobs over other people, not based on their talent or their ability or their merit, but on whether or not they've got the right skin color, the right private parts, and the right sexual tendencies to balance out the workforce according to the way the world should be, according to the neo-Marxists and their governments. The 20th century taught us which system works and which one doesn't. But we haven't learned, weirdly enough. People are generally pretty dumb, it appears, and as a species, we have very short memories, it seems. We're still easily persuaded by nice-sounding, hollow catchphrases from politicians like Kamala Harris. Woke has entered the workplace in a big way. I've had many old expatriates like me who lived overseas for a while come back to Australia. We lived in communist countries and perhaps other less free parts of the world. Have come back home to Australia and say things like, and I hear this all the time from expats, oh wow, I felt more free in Hong Kong or Singapore or China or the Middle East than I do here in Australia these days. And it's a surprise to us because the Australia we left is not the same as the Australia we've come back to. This is because if you don't toe the line at work in most Australian corporations and foreign big corporations operating in Australia now on this diversity, equity and inclusion itself derived from critical theory, the concept of equity is not a good concept, it's not a good thing, then your career, if you don't buy into the DEI, is going nowhere. So you are literally gagged. Like people can't talk. I get emails all the time, LinkedIn posts, tweets, direct messages saying, I'd love your show, would love to be able to speak out on this. I can't say this at work, I can't talk about that. So we're gagged as Aussies now. Not only that, we're very near the next step, as Jordan Peterson calls it, forced speech. We very nearly are being forced to say sing off the script, right? To sing the Communist Party song and salute that trans rainbow flag. I was at a university, a Catholic university actually, the other day, and I noticed in the library there were like 6 different flags. The Australian flag was one of them, but there were plenty of flags that we're supposed to not, we're supposed to respect these flags. Otherwise, you're a bad person and you're out of a job and a work life and an income and putting food on the table for your family. So this isn't funny. It's not just about acceptance of other races, genders and sexualities anymore, which is a good thing. No, that's not enough. If you refuse to wave that rainbow flag, you're looking down the barrel of a career dead end. And life is grim if you're not in any of these so-called oppressed groups, as deemed by the identity politics radical extremists. Which brings me to the story of this bloke, Bob Ballard. Bob was a popular commentator for Eurosport. Lovely bloke. Eurosport hold the rights in that part of the world for the Olympic Games, and Bob was having a happy start to his day at work.
Good morning, hello world, welcome back to Paris from the La Défense Arena for day 2 of swimming. Lizzie Simmons is working so hard alongside me with all the prep and all the data and all the stats. She'll show me up, of course, in the next couple of hours we go live.
Eurosport commentator Bob Ballard on day 2 of the swimming at the Olympics, saying hi to his fans on Twitter before his workday started. Then we had the big race where Australia's super women relay team, they took gold. And after it, while live on air, Bob made this little joke.
Well, the women just finishing off. You know what women are like, hanging around, you know, doing the makeup.
Outrageous, Bob. Some of the men are doing that as well.
But doing the makeup. Yeah.
So what he said there was, the women are just finishing off, you know, what women are like, hanging around, doing the makeup. That was it. An old school sexist joke. Maybe a little bit dated and out of place in 2024. Bit Benny Hill for our day, but hardly grossly offensive. You know, a bit like women teasing men for being a bit dopey or making endless doofus dad jokes that we have on TV all the time. And afterwards, I mean, the genders teasing each other about gender things is, you know, it's funny and it's been going on for centuries. After he said this, his co-host put him right in his place, as she should have, and she said, "That's outrageous, Bob," and they had a bit of a laugh. And they moved on, right? Normal banter, live television. Not everything's perfect in live television, that's for sure. Let's just listen to it again.
Well, the women just finishing off. You know what women are like, hanging around, you know, doing the makeup.
Outrageous, Bob. Some of the men are doing that as well.
But doing the makeup. Yeah.
Now, this should be nothing, right? This shouldn't be a news story. I shouldn't be wasting my time and your time sitting here talking about it. But why do we have to? Because a bunch of hypersensitive brats protested this great offence to the woke gods, and Eurosport responded by laughing it off as a minor indiscretion, apologising to all women, and asking Bob to watch his banter in the future. Yeah, no, that's actually not what Eurosport did. What they did to Bob was they took away his livelihood and the career that he loves and has worked in for decades. The bastards fired him. They fired Bob Ballard over that. And that, folks, is why, no, we cannot take woke as a joke. It's very serious stuff, especially if you happen to be a straight white man over 40. If you think this isn't so bad here in Australia, this culture, think again. Winner of the Double Standards Award for this week goes to the truly delightful Laura Mazier, an Aussie journalist at the trashy try-hard hipster website Pedestrian TV and Pedestrian Daily. Not only was she gleefully reporting the disgraceful overreaction of Eurosport in firing Ballard, she hypocritically described him in her article as a wrinkly old white man. Clearly, it's a shitty and inherently sexist comment to make about any woman, let alone a group of elite athletes who just won gold on the world stage at the effing Olympics. She used the full word, by the way. It also really gets under my skin that this wrinkly old white man really wanted to rush along a moment that the entire team would be working tirelessly for 4 years. Yeah, nah, get over yourself, Laura. He wasn't rushing them. He was simply making a quick joke that was a bit off taste and probably not suitable for this day and age. So come down off that fake moral high ground of a 20-something virtue signalling fool. It was a lame joke. And where's the kindness and compassion of the left? We hear about, oh, they're so kind and compassionate. No kindness or compassion for this old bloke, or dare I say it, respect in any way for an elder. So Bob Ballard gets fired for a bad joke made off the cuff during a live in real time broadcast, a slip of the tongue that he probably regrets, and which was no worse than an old-fashioned Benny Hill joke. But this young writer, actually she's pushing 30 now, so it might be time to grow up a bit now, she delivers a deliberate, premeditated slur that is the full triple whammy: racist, sexist, and ageist. Right? Wrinkly old white guy. And she still has a job? We truly live in a clown world. Hope you enjoyed that clip. The Other Side is your weekly analysis of the media's best news and commentary without the woke, and we need your support. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on X at The Other Side on X. It's all totally free to do that, but we could always do with your financial support too. So if you'd like to make a donation, click the Super Thanks button on YouTube with a little $ and thanks on it right under the video frame below. Even a $2 donation will really help us. And if you're watching on YouTube, do check out the full episode that this clip came from right here.